Hi, my name is Dr. Flis Lawrence and welcome back to my pilot program. This is session 2 and it's all about how to unravel your workplace culture. This is one of the things, strategies that most people are either completely unaware of or forget over time, which is when you walk into a new workplace, or even when you're in an existing workplace but you have a new, for instance, senior leader, or you have a massive leadership change in your workplace, you can find that there's a disruption between how the rules are expected to be applied, or how the rules and regulations and policies that inform how your workplace is actually set up, how they're actually intended, and the behaviours in the workplace, your lived experiences. And sometimes this discrepancy or the differences between the two cultures, one's called the explicit culture, your rules and regulations, or things that your governance processes, and the other culture that most people are completely oblivious to is your implicit culture, which is, as I said, your behaviours, your attitudes, your beliefs. Often it's described as, this is the way we get things done around here. And people get unstuck, and I have to admit I did too, until I figured out sort of in my late 20s, early 30s, that when you walk into an environment and you get told, yes, our behaviours are officially respectful, we're very much focused on integrity and moral behaviour and collaboration and collegiality and all the rest of it, but you actually find out that what you actually see around you is not the antithesis exactly, but it's certainly not collegiate. There's more about power games and that type of thing. It used to really, I used to really struggle with it, I have to admit, until I finally figured it out. And it is very much a political nous or political savvy type of skill, which you either, I think you either get brought up in a family that is very aware of this type of thing, so you sort of get told about it, or you have a really fantastic mentor at work who sort of tells you, look, if you want to actually get things done around here, this is what you actually need to do. Yes, these are the rules, but how you actually explain those rules or use those rules in this workplace is, A, B, C, D. So this strategy is going to be amazing in terms of keeping your sanity alive and also helping you thrive in whatever workplace that you happen to be in, whether it be unhealthy or healthy. Hopefully you're in a healthy workplace, but this strategy will help you in both of these workplaces. So okay, I'm now going to switch over to just the workbook. So I hope you can follow the workbook with me. This video should take about 15 minutes. Thank you. First of all, we'll talk about explicit culture and implicit culture. Simply put, explicit culture literally is the way you intend to get things done, using those rules, regulations and policies, your governance processes. And again, your implicit culture is how things actually get done, your lived experiences. So how to recognise a functional and a dysfunctional work environment? Well, functional workplaces are more likely to be found where policies and rules generally align or match with how things actually get done and are perceived as adhering to the principles of organisational justice. So what do I mean by that? So they tend to have more clear, transparent and often unambiguous processes, and people feel in these workplaces that they're more likely to be treated fairly, and decisions or outcomes are usually reasonably consistent, irrespective of who's leading those activities. And this consistency tends to lead to people to feel that they can trust their processes, trust their leaders, and there's a perception of organisational justice. You know exactly the type of behaviour that's expected of you, and other people know the sort of behaviour that's expected from them. Everyone's treated fairly, and this fosters reassurance and trust and helps create a safe work environment. So dysfunctional workplaces are generally more likely to manifest where a significant misalignment or mismatch is experienced or observed between how the policies and rules are intended to be implemented and how things actually get done. So these tend to be indicated or described or experienced when you have outdated or even ambiguous policies or unclear policies or rules or processes that are simply open to people's interpretation. So this allows processes to be managed differently depending on who's leading it. And what this means is there are inconsistencies. So people know that if a certain manager or type of person is leading a recruitment process, then that process may be managed differently because their interpretation of the rules and regulations are different. And this causes perceptions of unfair treatment, where outcomes appear to be biased in favour of who's in power, and often this can be the case. Nepotism can occur. Just quickly, session 3 will introduce you to yet another excellent political now strategy, which will definitely help you boost your work savviness, and will unpack the differences between your individual expectations and workplace expectations, which is perhaps, the expectations that your supervisor has from you in the work environment, and your expectations of your supervisor, and why it will definitely help you understand why congruence between these expectations and your personal expectations can actually be so important in understanding why you love or hate working where you are. Okay, thank you very much, and hope to see you soon.